are not. Whoa, okay. And then and then the following week we are going to be at a different time. So thank you for being flexible, those of you that are here. And then if you're watching the recording, hopefully you can get on with us the next time that we're doing this, which is not Memorial Day, but the weekend or the week after. Okay, so spread the word. Okay, so we are going to talk this week about finding your why and why it's so important and how it can affect or change how you do things and how it's ever changing. So I'm going to start with me because my team, people who are going to be sharing with me, are not quite on yet. I apologize about the change of time and the weirdness, and I don't know. All I can say is life happens and we are all human. Me especially, and we make mistakes and things happen, and yeah. So we'll go ahead and start here. So my name's Laura, if you don't know me, but you've probably gotten to know me over the last few weeks. So excited to be sharing this with all of you guys. And like I said, we're talking about our why. So I'm going to share a short story really quick about myself. And then I have a couple people on my team who are going to share about themselves. And then we'll go into a little bit of a hands-on fun little thing that we're going to do. So if you have time, grab a sheet of paper and a pencil so that you have that with you. I'm sure most of you do, but that's something we'll be using later. Okay, so and hopefully my children who are in the bathtub don't come down the stairs, but we'll turn this just in case. Okay, so when I joined Zaya, I heard a lot about finding your why, and everyone talks about it, and you don't always know exactly what yours is when you start. But when you start to really think about it and you peel back the layers, I'm sure a lot of us have heard this talk about peeling back the layers of your why, you find something super special. And if you haven't found it yet, maybe you haven't dug deep enough yet. And if you're on this call, I know that you're here for the business, and having a why is something that is really important to continue. Can you guys hear my kids yelling, or are we good? We're good? Okay. They're playing. Okay. So having your why is something that's going to be really important to stick with you through the seasons of your business. If you really want to grow, you are going to go through seasons. We all do. And it's something that's going to carry you through from A to B to C. So when I started Zaya, I thought, hey, here's this cool thing. Like, I wear gym clothes and I work out and I want a discount on my clothes, right? And so I jumped in. But I quickly found out that it was something that I wanted to take to the next level, and I wanted to really make this into a business. And so I told myself, okay, well, the reason why I want to do this is because I like to be good at things, and I just want to. And Natalie is my upline, and she told me, Laura, that's not really, not that it's not good enough, but that's not a good enough why to keep you going, right? Like, you just don't want to do this through sellouts and through inventory problems and through growing with a team and through seasons of life where things get hard. That's not going to keep me going. And she's talked about, well, what can doing well do for you? So I thought, okay, well, if I did well, I would have more money, and that would be great. She said, okay, well, what does having more money do for you? And I thought, well, if I had more money, then I probably could afford to do some things with my family that I don't normally get to do. And she asked, well, what are those things that you don't normally get to do? Or what are those things that you would want to do with your family with that more money? And I thought, well, this sounds really silly. And she said, it's not silly. And this is where we started to make the breakthrough. So when you think like, well, this is silly, I could never have this, this is where your breakthrough comes in, right? So I thought, well, I love the mountains. I live in Florida, and everybody thinks like, I want to go to Florida, I want to go to the beach. I'm over it. Like, I'm done with the beach. I love the mountains. I love going and finding waterfalls. I like hiking. I love the fresh, crisp air. I want a house in the mountains someday. And I thought, like, that's not really something I could ever have. Like, who am I to have two houses? I can't do that. And she said, well, if you stick with Zaya, you can. So all of a sudden, I started just thinking like, I just want to do this because I'm competitive and I just want to do well. to now I have this goal and I have this picture of this mountain home with this fireplace outside where I can take my kids and they can play in the dirt and the leaves and we can experience seasons, which we don't have here in Florida. It's just hot, hotter and hottest. I can see snow maybe. I could see fall. I could see the colors of the leaves change. And I started experiencing this whole story in my head that I lived year round of us in the fall at our mountain house and us. And I have goosebumps now talking about this because my why all of a sudden is so tangible, right? Like I'm on realtor.com looking at houses and I'm thinking like, this is something that I could do. And when things get hard, when I'm in a season of my life right now that makes me want to cry because I'm like, I'm so busy. My son is in baseball and he's in the playoffs and they just keep winning. And I'm like, can baseball just be over? Because I can't handle everything that's happening. And I all of a sudden I go on realtor.com and I see that house that I want, that home that I think, man, I almost have a comfortable amount that I could say we could afford this monthly. That's what brings me back. When I think, oh man, the stupid leggings sold out and I didn't get to sell any and I just want to quit and I hate this, I picture my kids roasting marshmallows in the fire pit outside. Maybe you don't have a why like a house like mine, but I know that we all could dig deep enough that we could figure it out. And I kind of want to go there tonight with a couple of you if you're willing. So there's my why. And it's so tangible and real. And when I think of it, it keeps me here.
Recording in progress.
Whoa, did anyone else hear that? So I would like to move on. If it's okay, Sarah is on my team and she's here to talk a little bit about her why, which could be totally different than my why, but again, is something that is so important to keep us all going.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah. So my why has sort of changed over time, and I think it changes with like where I am in my business and where I am in my life. So when I first started, when Laura first like posed the idea to me, it was sort of like a why not, right? Same kind of thing. Like I work out, I live in my activewear, I'm home with my kids. So why not like pick up this fun thing on the side? And then sort of as I got into it, I realized like it was a lot more about I needed something that was just for me. So I had left a career to be home with my kids and I loved that, but I really had lost sort of like my own thing. And so this became my own thing that wasn't for, wasn't involving my kids. It wasn't involving my husband. It was just something that I did. And I got to meet people and, like other reps on our team and also people that I met in parties. And I sort of started to build this community and I didn't realize how much I needed and wanted that. So that was sort of a big why for me, was to have something that was my own that I could build up and be proud of, and also build up a community that, sort of like my VIP group and this team have become this community that I have that really helps me to tap into having something for myself separate from all the other really important things in my life, like my family. So that was a big why. And then, I have months and times when I'm not as busy or I'm not doing as well and I'm not, crushing my goals, when I think like, oh, I should just quit. And then it kind of becomes just a why not? Like, why not just stick with it? What's the big deal if I don't, make the most sales that I ever have every single month? Like, I'm not losing anything. It's still all positive, right? I still have this community of great people. I'm still making some money, and why not just stick with it? So that's kind of what I remind myself of in like the harder times or the harder months or the harder quarters, which always come. It's easy to want to stick with it when I keep hitting goals and getting, more and more sales, but like this month isn't one of those months. And I'm just sort of like, okay, you ride this out. Why not? So I think it's good to remember both your why and also what you can fall back on when things aren't quite as positive.
I love that. It's so true. Sometimes, our why is very strong. However, if you think, why not? What are we losing if we have a month where we're kind of stalled or we're kind of stuck? Why not stick it out? Because your why is still there. It's still strong enough and you can keep coming back on your roller coaster of your business. I've really noticed, and I hear a lot of people say like, well, I'm having a bad month. I don't know if I should stick with it. And the biggest thing that I've learned with this business is that it is very often a roller coaster. It is very often that you have your up, 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 and then you go a little bit down, and then you go up, 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 and then a little down. It can't always be up, 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 up. I mean, maybe for a couple people, but for the majority of us, we do ride the roller coaster. And when you remember that and realize that, it does really help with motivation and to keep us feeling excited and strong. Does anybody else? So Danielle, I don't know if the time change got to us, but we also had Danielle that was going to share her why. And I don't see her here. Is there anybody else who has a super strong why that would like to share it before we do a little activity? No. Okay. So I wrote down this activity that I want to do, and I wrote down this quote that I saw earlier that I really liked. And it says, if you know your why, or if you know why you do things, you can always figure out what to do and how to do it. If you go into this business, right, and you think, okay, I really want to do this because I need an extra $200 a month to pay for my whatever, car insurance bill, my daycare bill, whatever. If you know why you need that, right? I need to pay for this daycare bill because I want my kids in this wonderful school where they get to meet a bunch of friends and there's great teachers. You know what you want, right? You know why you want that, because they need to be there. You will figure out what to do and how to do it. If you have your why, I have my house that I want in the mountains. I really want that. I'm going to figure out what I have to do to make that happen. And then I'm going to figure out how to do it. Your why is what keeps you going. So I want you guys to take a sheet of paper, and I want you to draw in the middle what you think of right now is why you're doing Zaya. I know that sounds really weird. So for me, I have it pretty strong, right? Like I'm going to draw a house with mountains behind it. It could be money. You could draw a dollar sign. It could be time. You could draw a clock. It could be your family. You could draw a stick figure family, or if you're an artist, something better. So I want you to draw that on a sheet of paper right in the very center. Around that, I want you to take your pencil, your pen, if you're super fancy, a crayon. And I want you to draw what comes to your mind or your heart when you picture how you will feel when you have that. Will you feel love, hearts? Will you feel happy, smiley faces? Will you feel strong? You can draw biceps. What will you feel? So I'm just going to give you like a minute, 30 seconds, a minute to draw what you will feel. I want you to look at that why on your paper. Look at that dollar sign. Look at that house. Look at that car. Look at that smiling stick figure and draw what you feel around your why. My little stick figure children here. If you don't have a why, I want you to think, or if you don't think you have a why, think about a feeling that you want. Do you want happiness? Are you craving love? Are you craving family bonding? What is something that you're craving in your life? Draw that instead. Because this piece of paper is not permanent, right? Like we can add to it, we can change it, we can keep it and grow. It can grow, right? Mine sure did. So around that, or in between, or on the side, or however you feel, I want you to write down some words that come to mind when you picture yourself in your head achieving your why. And like I said, it can be ever changing, right? Like I could get this mountain house, and all of a sudden my why becomes, I want time in the mountain house. I want time with my family, be able to go on vacations and not have to worry about taking off more than 4 days of work. So write down some words that come to your mind, and there's no right answer here. anybody want to share their picture? This is a completely no judgment zone. Teresa, can you tell us what's on there?
I gotta find mute, sorry. My dream's a lake property out in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And they've got a really nice bike trail right on it. I put a bicycle because I'd ride every day. My husband would go fishing. I'd have family there. I'd have my cup of coffee every morning when the sun was coming up, and I'd feel relaxed joy and fulfillment. That's what I came up with.
I love that. I love that. So when the new amazing Bomber Bra sells out and everyone's angry and you're like, oh, screw this, I want to quit. You picture your lake house, right? You picture the people that you can help achieve their whys. You picture all those things. And I guarantee you it's going to take you right through it. Does anybody else want to share their picture? I feel like a kindergarten teacher. Can I see your picture? Nicole, what's on there?
So in the center, I have an RV and a campfire. So basically, my husband will be ready to retire in a few years, his second retirement. So we want to have an RV life and ride our motorcycle and have time just to relax and travel, and so that's my goal to get us there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So time with your husband, new experiences, making memories, all of those things. All like, yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I know this seems silly sometimes because it's like, well, how is this helping me grow my business? But when you think like this piece of paper is why we're here, right? I'm not here. I mean, I love Zaya, but I'm not here to grow Erin's wallet, right? Like she's here to help us all achieve these. And you can feel that, right? That's what they're about. They could have just had a brick and mortar store all over the country, but they're fulfilling the dreams of so many people. Does anybody else want to share their picture? Come on. No.
So I'll go. Oh, someone else has it.
You go.
So I'm going to be honest. I do not have the picture because I'm working and listening because I sit at this desk and work all day long. So one of my huge whys is to not have to work 14-hour days every single day. But I think along with Teresa, one of my big whys is to have a lake house. So my in-laws have one, and I've seen how great it has been for my kids having that growing up, and I want that, and I want it to be, to wake up there in the morning and, like Teresa said, to have my coffee, being able to sit on the dock and not have to, drive and go and visit. My why has really evolved recently too. Starting this, I hear a lot of people say, I don't want to ask people because they don't need the money. I will say with the job that's killing me, I don't, the income is there. I don't need it. This is giving me something for me. And I've recently had multiple people come to me and, talk about, the confidence that they're gaining from not only from, purchasing clothing that now fits them, but from being in my VAP group. And I've tried to do a lot lately about, talking on mental health things and that, it's okay to talk about those things. And so I feel like I'm trying to bring in so much more than just here, buy my leggings. And it's given me more purpose. Obviously, at the end of the day, I want to sell the leggings so that I can, make that money and I can have that lake house and I can have all that. But I feel like it's finally starting to come together. And I look really sunburned on this camera. Sorry. I don't know if it does on your side too, but I'm like, so yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. I love that. I do have to agree. I work a job. I run my family's business. And I did not sign up for this for the money. It has given me something to feel like it's mine. It's hard to go in. I work for my mom and dad. Like, I took over their business, and there's no ownership, not in my heart. Like, I don't feel ownership. That's really hard to say, like, yeah, I'll work there. And I mean, I work my butt off and I do a great job, but I don't feel pride. And Zaya is something that can give me that pride. So if you ever are looking to talk to somebody and thinking like, well, they're not going to do this, they don't need the money, there's a whole other half of your heart that might have a hole in it that Zaya can totally fill. That's a real thing. And I never knew how much I needed it until, I had my VIP group, and I'm like, man, I could talk about whatever I want and maybe sell leggings. So I really feel that. Thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else want to share their picture? Sarah, I saw you almost sharing.
It's a little more of the same, but I almost don't never even say this out loud because it feels so unattainable. Mine's a beach house. I know I've talked to Michelle about this before. My mom grew up at the shore, which is what we call it in New Jersey. And so we've always gone down there, but I've never had like my own house. And now that I have 3 kids, we can't really just like descend upon my family's houses all the time. So we need one for ourselves. And I like totally romanticize it as like, it'll be a place where we'll all be so happy all summer long, and the kids won't fight because they'll be on the beach and they'll love it. Everyone will love waking up there and being together. And it would be really amazing. But I need to make some growth before we can make that purchase happen. So that's like sort of the long-term goal.
Well, I really hope that you put that picture, that gorgeous stick figure picture of your beach house somewhere special, because that's what's going to keep you going, thinking like this could really be something. I mean, we all have the potential here. There is so much to go around. And we just have to, keep moving forward, because there's so many things to pull you back. There really is. There's so many kids fighting, busy schedules, young families, grown families. Like, there's so many things that we deal with, right? Working a side biz, right? Thinking, oh, I should be able to do all these things and this at the same time. So this is something you just got to keep straight in your heart so that you can keep moving forward. Danielle, I see you on here, and I don't know if you're able to, or hi.
Hi.
So guys, this is Danielle, and she was going to jump on here too and share her why. And I think with all our time changes, I might have confused you, and I apologize.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, is it that at 7:30? It's all good.
Sorry. So why don't you, we've just been chatting about our whys and how they're ever changing and growing, and what they're, how important they are. But I'd love to hear what you have to share too.
Yeah. So when I first started, my why was really for the clothes, to get free and discounted clothes. I started in the middle of the pandemic, in June of this last year. I had just had a baby in April. And so I thought, okay, well, sure, I'll give it a go, see how it goes, and gave it a go. And now, as I've gotten into it, I am a school psychologist by day. So I spend a lot of time outside of my job doing paperwork and writing eval reports. And so my time that I would like to spend with my family at night isn't always there because of the amount of time and paperwork that has to get done. So my why then changed into making more money, potentially, so that I could stay home with my son and be able to be there and pick him up from school and drop him off at school, because unfortunately that's not something that I can do. So that is like my big ultimate goal. But right now, I mean, at the end of the day, we have a lot of remodeling that needs to get done, and we're looking to have one more. So that is now kind of morphed into my smaller goal why, to help support some of the things that we want to do here so that we can make our house into a home. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I definitely, yeah, I love how I keep hearing that these whys are morphing and changing. And as I'm sitting here and thinking, I really feel that when you find your why is when you start to really turn this from a hobby to a business. A lot of us joined just for the clothes, right? And there's a lot of people on your team. If you're a leader of just yourself, or if you're a leader of 2 or 10 or 50, there's a lot of people on your team who don't know why they're doing this. And so when things sell out, or the website has its hiccups, or when things get hard, when people don't want to, you don't find people to buy for a few days or weeks or a month, you might just forget it. I quit, right? That might be real for a lot of people. And if you can work with them, and this goes into the aspect of leadership, if you can work with them to help them find what hole in their heart Zaya can fill, or what hole in their wallet, or what hole in whatever is going on in their circle, because everybody lives in their own bubble, right? Like everybody lives in just what's going on around them. And yeah, we have friends and we have family, we have people we care about, but at the end of the day, we are humans and we really just are here to survive. And we have things that we have needs that we need to fill. And if you can help people on your team realize what need Zaya can fill for them, you might be able to take people, Danielle Moniz is an example, who joined just for the clothes, just like me, and turn them into someone who has a strong why now, who says, look what Zaya can do for me. Look how I can change. So I really like hearing all these, and I'm so happy and thankful for all of you guys who have. I know this wasn't a completely, income producing activity talk, but I really think it's important to really give us this supportive and emotional side of Zaya, because I think that is a very big piece of why we all are here and how we can stay successful. Does anybody else want to share anything?
Hey, Laura, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so, there we go. So the one thing that I kept thinking as I was hearing people talk is, I know like in the beginning, I felt at least kind of like, who was it? Was it Sarah? Or it was one of you who was saying how you aren't really comfortable with saying it out loud because it feels really unattainable. Was that you, Sarah? I remember feeling that in the beginning too. And it's funny. So I think all of you know Natalie Robinson. She's our upline. And I just went to lunch with her the other day. We were friends long time ago, before they even had kids. And Natalie was always into vision boards. And she always had a vision board with her dreams. And I'm pretty big into vision boards too. So I have this one on my phone, on my screen save, and it's just got all these things that mean something to me. And so at lunch the other day, I was sitting there with Natalie and I was talking, and we had another friend who was a mutual friend of ours from Idaho, and we were sitting there chatting, and our mutual friend, who's not a rep, she says to Natalie, she says, Natalie, because Natalie was telling her, she says, yeah, we just bought the dream house and we just got all the four-wheelers, we got the dirt bikes. Yep, the kids are in the sports, and I'm doing all these things that I love. And Natalie was telling us all these things that she was doing, traveling to Mexico. We're traveling to Mexico together. So it's like she's telling her all these fun things that we're getting ready to do. And she said, Natalie, I remember your vision board. And I think if you can find that thing, you can probably cross off like almost everything on that vision board. And it just kind of all of a sudden clicked. Both Natalie and I looked at each other and we were like, oh my gosh, that's true. I've known several people who have had things for their vision board that manifest themselves because it's not something they tuck away and hide. It's something that they put out there to everyone, and they tell people. Natalie talks about it. She's been talking about the dream house and the things for the kids. And we've talked about it, and we used to dream about these things, and now they're coming true, and they're on their way to coming true for me too. I'm not where Natalie is, but it's just, I mean, it's how she got from A to B without quitting. After, I mean, I don't know if you guys know Natalie's history, but she has tried tons and tons of direct sales businesses, like fingernail situation, little fingernail stickers, Amway, for those of you who know Amway, the swear word. Yeah. Everyone who's back in the old days, you know, Amway. Her mom was a Mary Kay consultant. All of her childhood, she had Mary Kay, and she'd watch her mom bust her butt and never get very far. And I mean, she didn't have any proof around her that what she was doing was going to amount to anything, but it was her dedication to her dreams that carried her all the way through to where she is now. And anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because it was really special to all of a sudden go, oh, that's amazing. These things will happen, but don't tuck them away. Don't hide them. Talk about them. Tell people. Think about it. If you have, I had a hard time wrapping my brain around mine as well for a long time because there's so much talk in our head. That big smart brain of ours is like, dumb, you're never going to get there because of this, right? And we've got to really tuck that voice away and say, thank you, but I'm going to focus on getting where I want to be. And so think about where you want to be. Get so comfortable and intimate with these things, with your why. So comfortable and intimate that you know the color of your beach house, that you know, or your lake house or your mountain house. Just like Laura was saying, she could probably give us a tour of it. And, you know, I mean, she could walk us and tell us what she's drinking, where she's sitting, what her husband's doing, what her kids are doing, what they're wearing, how the sun is in the sky. I mean, the more intimate we can become with these things, we can become with our dreams and our goals, the more likely they are to move themselves into our path. So anyway, just want to share that with you guys. I did follow this along as well. And I didn't draw the picture because I have that vision board. And I just, in closing, I'll share with you the feeling that that came up instantly when Laura asked that question. And what do you feel? That last question that she asked. And the feeling that I wrote down was whole. I just will feel whole. And it's just an amazing feeling to think, I feel whole. And so that's the feeling that I work on feeling right now, even though I'm not in the situation I want to be in. I cultivate that emotion of feeling whole now so that I'm ready for when these things come into my path. Okay, that's it, you guys. Back to you, Laura.
Hello, I'm back. Okay. It comes up, you're muted. Okay. Yes, I love everything that you just said. And it's true. So this is what I posted on my VIP group today. And I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it? It says, the way you speak to yourself matters. And I struggle with this on a daily, like the negative talk in my head is so strong. But the way that you speak to yourself really matters. You want that beach house, you want that extra paycheck to cover daycare so that you can have a little more money to do things with your family on the weekends. Like, talk to yourself about it. Tell yourself about it. I really could give you a tour of my mountain home. I know what color my walls are. Like, I really could. Because I can taste it. That's how badly I want it. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to get there. Whether Zaya is the vessel or if it's the stepping stone to the way, this is part of my journey. And I know that you guys really have a journey as well. Everybody does. You guys are all worthy of that. So if there's anybody else that wants to share, I saw a comment in the chat that saying it out loud and sharing it is a step closer to your vision. And that is so flippin' true. So if there's anybody else that wants to say it out loud, this is the place, because we're all excited too. And if you don't want to say it out loud in here, you can message your upline, go tell your dog, something. Okay, is there anything else that we want to talk about? Anybody need any help with anything? Anybody not know their why? Okay. Well then, thank you guys for being here. I hope you know that we're all here to support you. So if anybody needs to chat, wants to chat, like that's what we're for. And we'll see you in 2 Mondays. Okay? Bye guys, thank you.
Thanks, guys.